Hello, everybody. This is Book Spines again. I am recording this video to make an update on my reading. In this video, I will discuss about what I've read and the book haul I have for this month. For August 2025, I read 3 books. One book I don't have, well, I have a hard copy, I just don't know where it is. It's titled The Teaching of Buddha. I've read that book before. It's self-explanatory. The teachings of Buddha talk about the Eightfold Path and the Eight Noble Truths. Those are doctrines that the Buddha teaches so we can become enlightened and become saved through the Buddha. You could find a copy of the Teachings of Buddha on the internet. You get a free copy in the US. I highly recommend reading it if you study philosophy. Here's another book I read, Empire of the Ants by Bernard Werber. Very fun book, especially near the end. I won't give it away, but you learn about how the ants thrive. You learn about their culture. You learn about different tribes. The ants go on adventures. Lots of characters. The ants meet different insects. They even meet a lizard. They go out on the street. They don't know what cars are, but they describe motor vehicles as death you cannot see, but you could hear before they crush you. On the other side of the map in the book, we learn about the humans, and it's quite frightening to learn that the humans are warned not to go into the cellar. Some humans go into the cellar and they don't come back. But what little I can give away is the ants and the humans, they encounter one another. Very fun read and make a good movie. And I think it was a video game or a computer game at one point, a long time ago. All right, what do I have here? I read The Black Pearl by Scott Odell, the author of The Island of the Blue Dolphins. I read the whole book yesterday. It's a real quick read. It's about 96 pages. About a young man who searches for the Black Pearl, and there's a character, the Manta Diablo, or Devil Stingray. He meets that creature near the end of the book. Sorry to give that spoiler away, but I don't think many people are talking about this online, so I feel justified by saying that. A fellow tries to steal the pearl that the young boy finds. It's a very good book. I'm not sure if there was ever a movie adaptation, but I love any book, even fiction or nonfiction, that illustrates about an ocean or a seafaring adventure. I know in history, though, one of the earliest seafarers were the Phoenicians, who lived off the coast of North Africa, which straddles the Mediterranean. So yeah, that was a real fun book. It was a YA book. I think it's fun to read YA, even though I read a lot of adult books. It just helps me it clears the headspace and the mind, brings a little bit more of an experience to planet Earth. I find many of the adventures young adult fiction. I find it more at times relatable. So these 3 novels are part of the book haul. We're starting with Boxer Beetle. Ed Bowman. I think he's been discussed about, but not too widely on BookTube. This is a fun book. It's got 2 storylines, one in the 1930s, about a guy who's kind of nicknamed Seth Sinner. He's the boxer. He's approached by a Nazi sympathizer who says, "Hey, you should study insects with me." And Seth's like, "Oh, forget you. You're a weirdo." But then the other storyline, which takes during the modern era, we're introduced to a character. I don't know if we're given a name, but he collects Nazi artifacts. He sells them, and one of his contacts or fellow collectors is killed, and it's a mystery. And I believe the two storylines coincide. It's a weird book. Not really one to read about anything Nazi related. I just find reading about those real bad guys, the Nazi Party, I find it a little bit uneasy and unsettling, even though it is part of history and World War II. Yeah, other than that, it's a good book. All right, next one. I'm gonna start reading Tin Man. It's a drama book. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I think it should be fun. I have no idea if it's related to The Wizard of Oz or not. But I do need to read more dramas, other than horror and sci-fi and fantasy. It helps carve my reading experience. On this book, everyone's heard of this one. This book, I'm not sure if many people have read it, but people have seen the movie The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. From what little I know about the book, the fact that Reagan in this book is represented as a boy, and I guess it was a true story. How much of it's true, I don't know. How much has been taken into liberties through the writing, I'm not sure. But in Hollywood, liberties are made to adapt into blockbuster films, and this obviously is a blockbuster film. It was revolutionary at the time. It came out in the 1970s. I don't know the exact year. I personally am not spooked by books, but the prose can be creepy, as we see with Stephen King, possibly Edgar Allan Poe, H.P. Lovecraft, to name a few. And I do like a good horror read. I don't read a whole lot of horror. But yeah, it's a funny looking cover though. Well, this is what I have. Oh, and a bonus. We got the Holy Bible, but I'm reading this time the Old Testament, which is in this edition over 1,500 pages. I recently completed reading the book of Genesis. Now I'm reading the book of Exodus, which are two of the books of what are called the books of Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and Numbers. I may have got them in the wrong order. I don't know. But the books of Moses in the Jewish world or Judaism are called simply the Torah. The Torah can be found in the Jewish Bible, which is also called the Tanakh. The Tanakh does not contain the New Testament. I'll make that clear. Yeah, I need to deep down read the Old Testament, not only to become more of a spiritual and a religious person, but to understand why reading certain Bible stories helps creative writing, as we see with Joseph and his 12 brothers. He was sold to bandits, became a slave, worked with Pharaoh, and we know the rest of the story. All right. So yeah, just for a fun fact, I got Yoda right here. May the 4th be with you. I drew him for my work. And also where I work, before I drew Yoda, I drew a picture of a leprechaun. Happy Leprechaun! And yeah, good old Ruth Orkin. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. You have fun. Bye.